Hey guys, welcome to the Chess Yard. This is Dhere Bagga, and I'll be taking you through the Halloween Gambit today. So I learned this today on YouTube, and I want to experiment it. I was playing my friend, and I'll just show my game that how it went. All right. So one second. It starts with pawn e4, trying to take the center. Pawn e5 from black, controlling the center again, not allowing the pawns to push forward. Knight c3, again a standard move, protecting the pawn. And then we see the same move from black side, protecting the center pawn. Now this knight comes out, attacking this despite it's being protected, so that if you can move this pawn and try to protect this and add some extra protection here. But the opponent takes out knight because still I cannot take this as the knight takes on the knight if I take it. So this becomes an interesting situation. This is where the Halloween Gambit actually starts. You'll be shocked to see the next move. So the main line here starts with knight takes on pawn e5, which engine gives in the favor of the opponent as 0.73. Despite that, this gambit works very well for the white. Now you must be thinking how. So the idea behind this gambit is you keep pushing the opponent's pieces towards its court and keep pushing your pawns ahead. This pawn. You can take out the bishop. You can take out this bishop, and the attack is always on. And you would try and not let the king castle to the safety. So, as per the plan, the knight takes on the knight. You are giving a free piece. Why would not it not take it? Interestingly, I'll now try to push this knight further behind. Again, engine says I'm on the losing front here, and as expected, nice knight comes here. Though had knight been come here, then again we would have tried to push the pawn forward and tried to take this knight out of the picture. So after this knight comes here, there's an attack on this pawn and nothing here. So in future, maybe knight the black's idea is to capture this pawn and get his knight here, queen here, and then attack the f2 square, which is very critical in these lines. Now, this, as I was experimenting it for the first time, I couldn't find the best move here, which was actually to push this pawn itself. So I blundered here as per the computer. But when you are playing against a similar rated player or not against grandmasters, such things are okay because you are actually experimenting things, and even the opponent might not be seeing everything that you are moving. So after I move this pawn, computer says it's 2.84 in the favor of my opponent, and then bishop comes in the picture, pinning this knight so that I cannot move this knight when this is captured. Again, a good move by black, I would suggest, though computer says it's an inaccuracy and he should have moved pawn to d5, trying to break this to hold on to the center. Despite if I cross it, maybe then at least my d pawn cannot move, my queen doesn't get free. So yeah, a good line for the computer. So as I missed the previous move, I again tried to push the pawn towards the center, asking some questions to the side. Again, good thing to be noticed here is that the queen side isn't developed, so that's another problem for the black. Though black can immediately go for castling, but then it will lose a knight. So he won't do the castling right now. So as expected, he pins my pawn. Now I cannot take as queen is threatening the king here. So it's an invalid move if I take it. So I cannot take it. And next move for though despite uh, he tried to do this, computer suggests the best move was to castle and let this piece go. And once this piece goes, you are back in the picture because now you know that uh, the knight you sacrificed earlier for the center, the big center that white has got, you get your piece back. So it's a good sharp opening, but yeah, you need to know the lines before playing it, otherwise it can go haywire. Then again, a big inaccuracy as per the computer. But here the idea was, if I take with this, I can take both the knights will be gone if I am able to trade this. Plus, this even protects my. I can now take this knight, which probably is now free. So this knight has to move. Maybe this knight could have come here, a good square for the knight, because this is already pinned. So I cannot take this with the knight. So this could have been a good square. Uh, but computer suggests you can put your queen here so that you can take this, which is also a good idea. But I wanted this knight to be away from here because it poses a good amount of threat on the king side, which I haven't even castled here. I haven't moved my blank bishop out to castle on the long side. So yeah, things are not even good for white as of now, and computer suggesting 2.73 in favor of black, which is a good amount of advantage already in the game. Now the knight goes back, and computer says it's a missed win. So computer was suggesting that you can take this so that my pawn structure is troubled. Plus, then you can come here and again pose many threats on my queen side. But since the opponent took it here, I had a chance to take the knight, which is an excellent move as per computer. I could have castled first as per the best move, but I went for the capture first, which then resulted in my pawn being taken away. But now the game is in my favor already. 1.29 is what white is ahead in the system, despite such a aggressive opening, giving up a piece already in the exchange. But now I've got a good solid opening. Then again, I didn't. I so actually my strategy is never to castle immediately, because once you castle immediately, you are telling actually the opponent that where you can attack. So I try to delay my castling. That's my habit from long time. I try to delay castlings and try to make sure that once opponent is moving towards one side, then only I do it on the other side. Also, I don't believe firmly that casting is important in the game. If you can take out your pieces better and control the situation, that's good enough, and you don't need to castle every time, like a standard chess game. So black castles to safety. Still, I am a bit ahead, though computer suggesting it was an inaccuracy. You should have taken this first. Once I take back and then castle, but eventually it's also safe move. Then I get my bishop into the picture. Bishop here is so that just in case even this is protected, if this takes, and if it takes with this, my queen takes this. So everything is structured. Plus, I'm opening my queen side as well. Now again, confusing the opponent which side I'm going to castle. Computer suggests castle on the short side. I prefer castling on the queen side. So yeah, I'm creating some confusion in the opponent's mind that how to go about it from here. So opponent finally decides to, since the pin is now gone, he captures the piece, which is again a best move from his side as of now. And I take back from queen, not with the bishop. If I had taken with the bishop, this could have come here, avoided my long side castle, though I could have put up rook here first. But then why to let opponent come in to your frame when you are already, you feel comfortable with your pieces out and pointing in the right direction towards the king side. The rook comes on e5, protecting this, attacking this bishop. Again, this is very dangerous situation. Once this pawn moves 2 steps, bishop can come here, and I cannot take for the exchange. So yeah, it is trying to create some pressure on the center, and already rook in e5 is always nice, be it from your side or the opponent. That's why the computer was even suggesting that I should have castled before, but I have it as of now, and it's still 6.69 in favor of the black, just slightly, but not completely winning. Then I get my queen on d3 because I want to make sure that this, if there are two attackers to it, or even if he tries to sacrifice his rook, take an exchange down, my casting gets spoiled, and then he can probably attack with all the pieces around. So I didn't want that. So I, and computer suggesting, but I moved your king already. I didn't wanted that in the game, so my attack plan was different. Computer lines don't match your plan every time. You play your game as per the scenario and what you feel which is right for the game, and attacks and suits your game plan. So after pawn e5, now d5, now bishop is going to attack either to the queen or to the bishop and try and go for an exchange. So I cancel. Despite it says again a move in the favor of black, but it's 1.86. But this was the best move now because my plan was simple that I want to. Even if he won't take the bishop now because I can capture the queen. Uh, Plus, I can now control the center with two rooks. My rooks are connected. My queen side is pretty safe behind these three pawns. I can move my king to b1 and keep it safe. This diagonal is already blocked with this pawn, and even queen is there. I can further take out my bishop on this and keep it safe. I can have my rook already in this line. So yeah, it feels pretty safe here, and the game is still in the black's favor here, but it's like how you play from here on and then still pull up a win. Bishop comes here, attacking, going for the exchange. It's very easy to capture here, but the threat was if I capture, knight captures here, and then knight comes to this deadly square where queen, rook, and this rook will be forked, and one of the pieces will definitely go, and that will be an exchange down. So knight, it is not a good idea to take this bishop here. So this was again an excellent move by the computers as suggested. So I moved my knight to e1 and put a put a rook in front of the rook. So this square, this again controlling, trying to control the center. Plus, I'm now back in the game a bit. It's now 0.75. Bishop takes on bishop. Rook takes the bishop. So again, my center is strong. The game in favor remains the same. I'm trying to control the center as from the starting. My pawns are safe. King is on the safety side. Whereas I see some weaknesses here once my pawns start to move towards the king. So the knight comes here. Once the knight came here, already I'm in plus. If you see, now the threat here was probably because I don't want to capture it or capture this earlier. Neither did he capture because the person who captures maybe will lose this open file. So that's an interesting thing that you don't capture here. So knight came here with the idea that if I take this, then this knight can again fork my queen and rook. So a good attack by the black, I would say. But I first took this despite computer suggesting this. Pawn H would have again just asked questions on the knight, but he would have taken the queen first, and then maybe uh, something. The rook would have taken the rook first, and things could have been different. I didn't want to calculate it that much at that point of time, so I just went for the exchange and thinking that once I move this, I can move away my queen, and then my rook is also on the correct lines, so I can proceed from there. So the bishop is exchanged, and I go and attack the rook. Also to notice that this is attacking this pawn and this pawn. So it's a triple attack where I was thinking black should ideally move the queen to this square because this controls all three. But then one problem will happen is the pawn structure will be spoiled for black. And center pawns in double pawns in the center don't cause much of a problem actually in the middle game. But actually, if your pawns are doubled in the corner lanes, then corner files, then that's a problem. But towards the center, if your pawns are doubled, you can live with that. Uh, but interestingly, Rook came here and tried to protect this pawn, and he missed that this pawn is very vulnerable here. So I captured the pawn. Now the game is in my favor already. Plus, I have the dark square bishop, which is always helpful. This can go here and target this diagonal. This knight isn't doing much here. He can capture, but yeah, only one pawn in the corner. If he comes here, my rook can easily move now. They can't, my pieces can't be forked. So yeah, good place to be there. So yeah, knight comes here now, but again, it's not a problem. So I pose a challenge to the knight. I'm still 2 points up as per chess.com's engine. Now he challenges the queen. So, despite, or he could have moved his knight here, which would have been a best move for him. But then again, I took time here actually, maybe when I was playing that there's a challenge. Plus, I have to be careful here where I land because next move can be very nasty from black. It can target my bishop. It can come here and protect the knight. Queen can take on this if I move it from here. So a lot of things happening here. So I took that pawn. The computer says this is a blunder, but I was thinking of the end game maybe that time that I should be on a square where I take up the pawn structure here, spoil it completely, so that if it goes to end game, I can push my pawns forward. This because I knew that my position was strong and I had the dark square bishop. I was okay to take that risk. That okay, I will just gobble some pawns here and then go for the end game and win. Now black comes up with a very good move which I couldn't see earlier, and he takes the pawn, and now there's a lots of threats happening. So if this takes, it's going to be made into this captures, and then it's a check. I go back inside. Once I go back, then again he can keep give check from here. I take, and then he takes, and it's a mate. So yeah, a very challenging position this. Plus, I can see now. I wanted to save this position somehow because and uh, I had some moves. I was thinking like if I take this, then this of no use. This happens. I cannot take this because the queen is protected. I cannot take this because again, queen is attacking this point. So I wanted to go for the exchange maybe initially, but then it struck me a better move, which was this, which was actually the best move. Now queen at b4 does everything for me. If he takes, I take, and if the rook comes here for check, I can take. So it will be bishop versus knight, and plus I have my pawns move pawn structure very nice, so I will win this endgame comfortably. So he, of course, who didn't go for the exchange and went for attacking this point again. The d2 square, because if I capture, he captures, and then there is double pressure over here. So he wanted to maintain that pressure on the d2 square. I still captured it because I thought I was again. I mentioned I was looking for an end game here, not anything beyond. Because I knew I was paunched up and I can pull it off from there. Going by my comfort levels, rook took the pawn, took my queen, and again there's a pressure as expected on the same square. Now I protected with the rook. This was the best move. Despite even this was the best move. So either way, it was best for me. I wanted actually if he takes exchange everything, I'm still okay and good enough. So that's why he didn't exchange because he knew that it's going to be bad for him. So now since he's not going for the exchange, I would rather try and push for the exchange. So I took it, took my bishop, attacking this rook as well as the pawn, so that if he exchanges, I can next move probably have this, and this is a nice diagonal for me. So he also saw that, so he put his rook on the a file, a4, and then I moved this pawn first. I didn't want to lose this pawn, though I could have given a check first, but I wanted my pawns to move forward in the game. So I moved a3, which is not a bad move, I believe, because I'm still leading and I'm in my comfort zone. Then his pawn starts moving towards my side. I cannot capture this because the knight sits here. So I give him a check, moving his king out of his place. And then this move comes. And even this was better if I could have moved my rook to d7, but I moved it to c6, c8 because I wanted to tank this pawn from with two pieces, so that if the knight goes off from the picture, and I could probably win the game from here. He moved this, and then I thought, okay, I'll first go all these pawns because once these three pawns are there and knight is on this side, uh, these pawns can certainly become passed pawns anytime. So you don't want to take that risk in the end game because you're in a solid position. You don't want to lose from here. So he moves the g pawn to g6. I capture this pawn first. He moves his pawn ahead. Now he forgot to notice that there's a pressure on this pawn from the bishop as well as the rook. So I captured with the rook. Now this is captured, and now rook has no place to go but to exchange, because this is protected by the pawn, and only this file remains. He cannot eat the pawn and give his rook. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, he takes the rook, and I take with the bishop. And computer suggests 4.46. I'm up already. He moves the pawn here, going for the pawn exchange. He takes with the knight, and then I go up towards the center. So basically, the idea is in the end game, your king should move first, and then carry your pawns alongside, so that there's no mishappening that goes at the end. Yeah. So the knight is now attacking the bishop. So bishop goes to this square. So the idea of this square was the king has to take a longer route to reach to the pawns. Meanwhile, I can progress these pawns and reach. Plus, this square can be controlled by bishop. If I can get my bishop here, it blocks the king also. It can only go from the white squares, cannot go from the dark squares. So I can keep moving my pawns in the right direction. So he moved his king first. I got my bishop here, and he starts moving towards these pawns. Now he cannot capture this, of course, but he can move this. So idea was, if he moves this pawn, the g6 to g5, I'll move to g3, so then I protect the pawn, and this chain remains there. So I move the a pawn, threatening the knight. He has to move his knight, and then I'm moving towards the knight and trying to promote this pawn eventually on the a file. Yeah, as expected, he moved his pawn, trying to dislodge this. And if I take this, then my bishop is hanging already, so I cannot. So I moved on the g pawn, and he crossed it, so that now he can go from the white, capture this, and then move the king and trying to promote this g pawn into a queen. So yeah, nice idea by black. Were the best move as well. But computer suggests it's 6.39 in my favor. Though you have to learn to take games out to convert these games into victory, because these can easily slip away if you try to be over aggressive. I tried to move my king again as per plan. The king goes down, trying to eat that pawn. Now I moved this pawn first. I wanted my both pawns to be attacking this king to the knight, and the bishop is also there. Once this knight is gone from here, I can easily promote one of my pawns to queen and win the game comfortably. He goes here. I know this is coming, so I let that go. I attack the knight. So he will first protect the knight, and I move my king here. Now, if he captures, I capture. He needs to capture this, two moves, then three moves. He gets side. In three moves, my pawn will be already here. One, two, three, and then I will get a queen first. So yeah, it's winning for me. So he calculated that thing. So he takes his knight there, and then I move one more pawn. I am aggressive towards this because I want to convert this into a queen. As simple as that. Now he captures. I threaten the knight again, also making sure that this pawn is never captured. He can capture this, but he cannot capture this. He moves his knight. I go towards the king, though even towards the knight, but I could have gone to the b file as well, trying to again move my pawns forward. And finally, he decides to take this. And as he took, I took with the pawn. Now, computer suggests it's a blunder. You could have actually let this. You should have actually eaten this with king, so that pawn structure remains the same, and then you can proceed the pawns, which is actually correct. I missed the trick here, but I knew probably that these three will get me a queen anyways, so I didn't think much and moved this. He captured. I started moving this, and it's an excellent move as suggested by computer. He moves the king out of the pawn side, and I move this further ahead. He moves one step more, and I get my queen first. And now he goes for the queen. I keep my queen on the g6 square, trying to protect this. If he gets a queen, I can take it, and my pawns are ahead. So that was the advantage of moving these pawns early in the game. Uh, this is how you realize that how endgame is very critical. You need to save your pawns. These pawns are very valuable. So yeah, he also saw that I can exchange. So he moved this pawn first, trying to challenge that. Okay, queen, you take this. Then if you take this right now, I take it, and I also need three moves. You also need three moves to get the queen. Both of us get the queens. So I didn't challenge this first, but I moved my pawn ahead. I knew that I have to promote it first. He moved again, and then I also moved it one more step. So here white will get the queen first, or if black gets the queen first, I will definitely exchange it and get my another queen. He gets the queen, I take it. He takes with the knight, a king. Now he has to move the pawn two times, and I have to move the pawn only once. So I get my queen first. He tries to promote it again. I come on the f3 square, and I can again take this. Once it promotes, I have one pawn remaining, so I will definitely win this. He promotes, I take, and he resigned. So yeah, this was the Halloween Gambit. If I share the analysis, so accuracy on the white for me was 86.2, whereas uh, the opponent's accuracy also was 83.8, pretty neck to neck. But if you see the game, it was in white's favor almost throughout. Once the opening went in favor, because of course I gave away the rook, the knight initially for a pawn. But yeah, eventually this game remained in the white's favor throughout. So yeah, a tricky game, I must say, a tricky gambit to play. I tried one more match with the same opponent. I'll share that next time. But yeah, the idea again of this gambit is to give away a knight initially and take the center, and then try to push your pawns in the opponent's court and try and knock him out. I hope you like it. If you liked it, try it. Try it with your friends. If you want to try it out with me, you are most welcome. I have my chess.com and DChess profile in my YouTube channel below in the description. Do let me know your comments, and yeah, see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.